In this video, I'm going to be designing an interactive PDF using Adobe InDesign. PDFs are much more than simple document holders, and in fact, you can add a ton of interactivity to them, including animations, video, audio, 3D models, all sorts of different things. So because PDF supports all of this, InDesign, which is largely what's used for designing PDFs, also supports a lot of this. And we can actually create some really nice, smooth, simple interactions in InDesign that we can leverage using the Publish Online features of InDesign CC 2018. So I'm going to start by going Window, Interactive, and Buttons and Forms. Now yours is probably floating, but I'm going to go ahead and dock mine over here. And there's one other window I'm going to open up. I'm going to go Window, Interactive, Bookmarks, and dock that as well. So just to explain, these two windows are basically what we'll be using to generate all of the interactivity for our PDF files. Bookmarks act just like you assume bookmarks do, where you can create custom placeholders and markers of where you are in a document, and then you can leverage buttons to go to those bookmarks. So we're going to be using both of these in conjunction. Let's go ahead and make a new object. I'm just going to click this rectangle and draw a rectangle. Let's apply a somewhat interesting color to it. And I'm going to click on it and go to this Buttons and Forms button. And whenever I do on the Buttons and Forms menu, we're actually able to simply convert this object to a button. A button, just like it sounds, is something that's clickable or interactive in a PDF file. Now, this button could do any number of different types of interactions. In this case, I'm going to convert this to a button and make it so that whenever I click this, it will take me to the next page. To convert something to a button, it's very simple. I can click right here to convert it to a button. I just need to have it selected. Or I can right-click it, go to Interactive, and say Convert to Button. Once it's converted, in this menu we have the type, the name. So I'm just going to call this Page 1 Button. And then we have something called the event. The event is what InDesign, or rather the PDF viewer, is listening for. It's listening for an event to occur. And in this case, we can choose any number of these. So for instance, on release or tap. So this is going to say on release would be if I click and I'm holding down my click, whenever I release that click, that is then the release. I'm going to select my button again. There's also on click, which is whenever we click it. On rollover, which is whenever we move our mouse over it, no clicking involved, and on roll off, when we move our mouse off of it. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to go with on click. And now we can add actions right here. So this is kind of setting up the button, so it's the type, it's a button. There's other types, by the way, like checkboxes and things like that. We're not going to be using any of those in this class, but they're more useful for forms and documents that you're sending to someone to sign. But we're going to keep it on button. I gave it a name, and I told it it is listening for us to click on it. Now below that I have an actions, and there's no actions added to this button yet, so it's not really doing anything. I can click this little plus, and there's tons of different actions. Go to destination could also be translated as go to a specific bookmark. Go to first page, self-explanatory. Go to last page, next page, previous page, URL, meaning an external website, show/hide buttons and forms. You can use this to hide and show other content within your document. So for instance, we might have a lot of content that's hidden, and whenever we click this, it reveals that content. Sound and videos. These other subsections, SWIF or EPUB only, so this is only going to work if we're saving this document as a SWIF or an EPUB, and then this is PDF only. We're going to just be using this top section. Let's go ahead and do go to URL. Now that I have that selected, it says URL, and it wants me to type in an address right here. So I'm just going to type in google.com. There's some other options down here we don't really need to worry about. But this button is active and it has been created and it's good to go. Let's collapse this. And I'm going to publish this document online. That's the best way to test these. I'm going to click Publish Online. I'm going to publish it as a new document, and I'll call it Interactive Testing. Now, after we publish this the first time, we'll be able to simply click this Update Existing Document from here on out and just keep updating it to test it out. All right, I'm going to click Publish, and I'll click View My Document. So we have our PDF right here. And whenever I move my mouse over the center button, notice it changes to the little hand. And whenever I click, it opens up a new tab and goes to google.com. So we've made an interactive PDF. I'm going to hit close on this. I'm back in InDesign now. And this little indicator tells me that this is a button. So I can move this around, I can edit it, I can make any changes I'd like to. Let's go ahead and change an action. So I'm going to remove this go to URL. So I have my button selected. I clicked this Buttons and Forms. And I'm going to click this minus next to Actions. This time I'm going to go to the next page. And of course I need to make a second page, so I'll do that right now. Just so that I know what page I'm on, I'm going to create some type. Okay, I'm going to go back to my page 1. Anytime we could change the color for this, so I could change this to yellow or something like that. Okay, so let's just double check our button set to go to next page. Let's change the event as well. I'll change it to on rollover. So whenever I move my mouse over it, that will make an event occur. I'm going to do go to next page. And let's go ahead and publish online. All we need to do is say update the existing document. And click view document. And there you go. I'll do that again because it's a little fast. Whenever I move my mouse over it, it takes me to the next page. Let's say we want to add interactivity to a block of text that we have. So for example, we want this specific piece of text to be interactive. It's very simple. I can right-click it, hyperlinks, new hyperlink, and I can say various different things, like go to a different page. So I could say this will take me to page 2. I can give it a different style. So I might just say same style as everything else. Or I'll do a new character style. And say OK. Now I'm going to hit Publish Online, Update Existing. Let's view our document again. And I have some interactive text. So because of the text, it works as a hyperlink. That's what they call it. But it doesn't have to necessarily look like a hyperlink. It can look, any way that you'd like it to. We still have this interaction down here.